friends. Happy Thursday. Sorry, I needed to find my embossing pouch because we're going to use that tonight. And I do believe that we are all ready to go. So, before we start our fun projects, I want to go over a couple things with you, including something that I don't have a printout for, unfortunately. But I wanted to go over some of the specials that we have going on still. So you are welcome here. Sign up for $25 and get $25 in Close to My Heart cash right away. My light is not working, so we'll see if it turns on later or not because the switch is on. Anyway, this is a super good deal. It goes through June 30th. Next, the June stamp of the month. Look at those sentiments. Like, this is crazy. These are awesome. So you can pay full price for it. $18.95. $19.95. Oh my goodness. My brain went into like Back to the Future mode. And there's the light. How funny. All right. So $19.95 full price, right? You have the option to purchase it that way. If you purchase $50 worth of stuff, variety of stuff, whatever, or all the same stuff, you can get this for just $5. If you are a VIP, and I'll tell you why you want to be here again in just a second, but if you are a VIP and you spend that same $50 that I just mentioned, you can get this for free, right? That's fantastic. But there's more. Let me pull up the information here right quick because I did forget to get all these specifics. Oh gosh, there's two things that I forgot to get printables for. Okay, so there is a new special going on right now called VIP bonus bundles. Okay, so you need to be a VIP for this to apply. And it's super easy to be a VIP. You just sign up for it. You get instant credit. Like, it's great. Okay, so with this special, you get free bundles. How cool is that? So, there are 3 tiers of bundles. So when you shop, you obviously have to be signed in on the website because otherwise you're not going to get credit for your VIP stuff normally anyway. But bundle level number 1, when you order between $100 and $149.99, you'll get that level 1 bundle of free stuff. And it has a value of $30, at least $30 worth of items in it. And it's a surprise bundle. You don't know what you're going to get. There is the deluxe bonus bundle, and that is when you order $150 to $199.99. And that bundle is worth $45. And then the third bundle is when you order $200 or more. Now all of these numbers are pre-tax and shipping, right? You don't get credit for tax and shipping, unfortunately. But then that bundle is a value of $60. You can only get 1 bundle per order, but you can order multiple times. So there is that. I have seen a couple of the bundles, and they are fabulous. So there is that. So that would be why you want to be a VIP. We also have let's continue on with the papers. We have Melon Mania going on still. We've talked about this a couple different times, right? You have the paper pack, you have the, goodness, sorry, we were being swarmed with fruit flies recently, and it's driving me batty. All right, so we have the paper pack, and we have the coordinating cardstock pack with silver foiling on 3 of the pieces and clear embossing on 3 of the pieces. So I do believe I've said that incorrectly in the past. Regular cardstock, glitter cardstock, specialty sticker sheet, specialty stamp set, all of the stuff that you've been able to get. Plus there is a bundle price, a bundle set that you can get for a discounted price, $37.95, and you get paper pack, coordinating cardstock, sticker sheet, paper pack, sticker sheet, coordinating cardstock, and the stamp set. So that is a fantastic deal as well. All right, and then the last special we have is a bring back your pack. And this, you've seen it in the past for a few other, if you've been around for a while, you've seen it happen a few times in the past. This one is the one called, so sorry, For Always. And this is a black and white pack, and it's beautiful. If I remember correctly, the original pack also had a sheet of full color roses, and this one does not. This one is all black and white sheets. There, of course, is a coordinating sticker sheet. There's coordinating cardstock. There are 2 different coordinating stamp sets that were brought back, and there are a few bundle options as well, including workshops and card kits and such. So those are, let me double check. Oh, plus also Dream Maker is still happening, so you can still get that through the end of the month. So believe it or not, that's next week. June is almost over. It's crazy. I don't even have words. So let me make sure that I can see everything. Move this out of the way. And I wanted to do a super quick recap of some of the cards that we've made recently. Partly because I've cleaned up some of my desk and I've gotten everything coordinated and combined and whatnot, and partly because I was doing that and I haven't done it the last couple times, and I want to show you guys so that you guys can go back and look at the cards in case you missed it. So last week we did these guys. Super fun, super easy, and there we go, focus. And they went together super quick, like all of the cards did, like the last 2 weeks. We have a thank you card. Oh, and I think I didn't, oh yeah, we did this stamping, but I didn't have this one cut out. So this is what I did on the inside for this. Gosh, those turned out super cute. And I did, when I finished up the second one, I did do the yellow dots on that. I do still like the green ones better, but the yellow ones do pop the flowers out, so they are good. And then this one, You Are the Best. And I finished putting this together right afterwards. So the inside, I just did a strip, and I believe that is in the video as well, that strip is there. So those are last week's cards. Right, they went together super quick and easy. And sorry, that may have been really loud there next to the microphone, I'm not sure. And then the week before, we did slimline cards. A Yamoka Me Smile with our coffee on the inside and our coffee on our envelope. it's your birthday, or another candle on the cake. We did do a different one just so we have some variety. On the inside, we have Eat More Cake on one, and the other one just had the candles. And then on the backs, or on the front of the envelope, we have our little cake. And then our last card for 2 weeks ago is this one, and I believe this actually, yeah, so that piece, it went just like that, right? So this one was super fun. We determined that on the back side of these particular papers, from where I cut it, because this paper had multiple colors on the back side, it was a kind of a monochromatic, so we could have done that on the other side, but we chose not to. So we have some super light flowers on the front here, and also on the inside, and also on the front of our envelope. Okay. And then prior to that, we did 3 cards. We did, technically we did 4 cards because you got an extra bonus card. Due to stamping to show, I actually have 4 of those cards with a cat paw print on one of them. And then I have the 2 mushrooms. That one just turned out so cute. And then this one was a 2-for-1 because we used the same stamp for all of our stuff here, and before we washed it off, we stamped it again, so we got another card for almost no extra effort. There was just a little bit of extra effort, but not a whole lot. And so that is those cards, and then just a couple more to show you, and then we will get on with our cards for this week. So this is a card that actually did not happen on a video. This is a card that was showcased in the LFT group. It was a challenge that Danielle, myself, and Pauline did, and it was to use the Totally Awesome stamp set with a sketch, and we had 3 100% completely different cards. So I thought that was super cool. But I wanted to show you, so I did, you can see on the background here, I did stenciling. And this is actually a lighter color ink than this paper is. This is rosemary ink with the lighter side of pine paper. Yeah. Then we have some rosemary cardstock. So you can see, right, they are very different colors. They're both green, but they're very different colors. And the rosemary is considerably lighter. So I was pleasantly surprised at how dark it actually showed up on the darker cardstock. So that was kind of cool. We have some, I do believe this is Mist or Seabrook glitter paper. And then on here, see if I can get that to show up. There we go. So those dots are actually from the Dreammaker stencil sheet, right, for the circles, and some clear texture paste. So I thought that was super fun. And then did a little bit more of the stencil on the circle for the sentiment. Anyway, I thought that turned out super, super cute. And then the cards from the week prior to that, and these are the same card. I don't know what happened to the other two of those ones. Apparently I didn't get quite everything together. But those are the last few weeks of our card classes. So if any of those interest you, you can go back and watch the video and see how to put them together. So with that said, should we get started? Okay. We're gonna do this one first. This one, move some more stuff out of the way. So these are the supplies that we need for this card. I'll pause this. Right. We will use a Misty, but I'm trying to decide still if I want to use Peacock Feathers or Mermaid Lagoon. I'm going to use the Distress Oxide because it will hold on to my clear embossing powder, which I put in this larger tub. And then I'll have a colored embossing without having to have 50 million different colored embossing powders. So, that being said, I have my card pieces here. I actually have 2 cards worth. And we're going to use this embroidered card front. I did actually forget to double check and make sure. I know it was available a week or 2 ago, so it may or may not actually still be available. But if you like the technique, I hope it is available. And if it's not, let me know and we can see what we can figure out. So, this one has been around for a little bit, and that's okay. That's okay. I do have my mini Misty here. And I do have 2 pieces, one for the outside, one for the inside, 4 by 5 1/4 White Daisy cardstock, along with our card base. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp 2 of them, just because. So we're going to go over our card base with our embossing pouch. And then we are going to take our stamp off. Now, I have not used this specific stamp in this set. And I know, you're like, that's the major stamp of this set, Michelle. I know. So I just wanted to see, so this does look like it's the same top and bottom, so there's not an up or down. And I'm going to make sure that my cardstock piece is tucked into the corner, right? Pushed down, pushed over. And then because of the powder, this will move just a little bit easier. I want to get this as centered as I can. Alright, and grab a magnet. It's not going to be in the way, and we may not be able to use this magnet. Perfect. All right, so I did touch it in a few spots, so let's make sure that all's good. And I want to make sure, I'm just going to use the inside of my card base for right now. It would help if I actually grabbed the card base. And I'm actually not even going to need to do that because we have this in a little tub, which is why I have it in a little tub. Goodness, my brain. spoon has gone missing. Goodness. What do I have? Found it. All right. I have a spoon. So, you know what? Let's just do one of each because I'm going to stamp two since I'll have it all set up anyway. And I won't necessarily put both of them together. But if I'm stamping, might as well make the most of it, right? Now, I did not actually do what I normally do for brand new stamps that haven't been used yet. I did not rub anything on it before the ink. So hopefully this will stamp nicely. The good news is we do have it in the MISTI so that if we need to, we can stamp it again. So I am putting pressure, but I'm not putting a ton of pressure on here. And most of it's good, but let's go ahead and do another layer just to be safe. There's a spot down here in this corner, down here on the circle, that didn't happen to work very well, but going to dump powder all over it, making sure to not touch any of the ink with our fingers or the spoon. While this is heating up, I do not have a way to hold the paper with this on the board, but you've seen me in the past, if you've watched any of my videos, use this handy little board to have a backing for my my heat gun. So that's all I'm doing right here. So I'm letting my gun heat up a little bit. I don't know if you can actually hear that. And then I'm just going to apply some heat. And then the magic starts working. And I just follow it around. Twist this around so that I don't completely burn myself. And then we're going to kind of actually come back over here, start where we left off, use the heat that we've already built up to go around. This gun is a slow heat gun. It's not called a gun, it's called a heat tool. But There are some heat tools that work a little bit faster, get probably a little bit hotter. And that's our first one. So let me wipe this off really quick and do the other color. Isn't that such a pretty color? It would be terrifying if it happened with the baby, but clearly that's not what we're doing. All right. Just trying to remove some of this water before we move on to the next color. Let's put our paper in. And then our pouch. And with the clear, it's not quite as bad as if you were doing a different color, a silver or a gold or black or something. But we still don't want straight spots anywhere. So this is something too that, this is going to be an easy card, right? This embossing is the hardest thing, and you don't have to emboss. I just think it adds to the look of stitching a little bit more, which is why I'm doing it. Okay, but you could just stamp and do no emboss, and then these cards would be super, super fast. I'll just go one easy layer, one additional easy layer. Now, if we'd have been smart, we could have put that sentiment in the center so it could be done at the same time. But we, or at least I, did not think ahead that much. That's okay. That's all right. Our heat tool should be fairly warm still. And so, let's see if I can give you a better view of this. Isn't that fantastic? I just like watching this process. It's so fun. melt and become all shiny. It's magic. Now you do want to make sure that everything melts. Because if it doesn't, you'll be able to just brush it off. And with color stamping and clear embossing, it's not quite as important as if you were using a solid embossing powder, a solid color embossing powder. So, you know, there is that, but you still don't want your design to come swiping off your card. That would be no fun at all. Okay. So, there is that one. Super fun, super easy. All right, sentiments. Let's go ahead and clean this one off. So that we can use the Misty again. Trying to get most of the color onto the wipe and not my fingers, but of course that's not going to be the way it goes. A clean one so I can try to make sure that I don't transfer any of the color from my fingers. We'll see. I do like how this just looks like it's an embroidery. Like our stuff has been embroidered. So let's see if we can kind of trick this. I don't think so, but we're gonna try. So I'm gonna put this one here. Thinking of you. Let's not do any of the flower stuff. That one there. Can we do the other one kind of opposite essentially? Yes. Necessarily will want to do that. You know what? Let's take this one off. Let's do the thinking of you with a block. And happy birthday with the Misty. All right. Happy birthday. I think I just want to stick with the monochromatic look. So let's just keep on with this color. This reminds me of our Capri color. And the other reminds me of Lagoon. So we should have embellishments that would also coordinate. going to look like a Smurf when I'm done here today. But I think I'm going to not heat emboss the sentiments just so that there's a slight difference in the look. Away my stamp pad. My phone. Let's bring this back in. And now this one, if you really wanted to take this one over the top, you could easily do some actual stitching with this. I'm not going to, but you could. Alright, grab a few small blocks and let's add some of these little bits and bobs and such. Will we use all of them? Probably not. But it may be, because it's been a long time since I've used every stamp set in every stamp in a set. Alright, so let's do this guy up top. Do little hearts on either side. Perfect. Let's use the right ink. I'll put that on the block upside down. Happy birthday. I think little tiny hearts too. I think two. Perfect. Awesome. All right, so now we need something on the inside, right? So we have this one open, so let's do this one. We're gonna do some, let's do a line of X's across the bottom. As you can see, this is super easy to just line up and go across until I say something, and then I mess it up some. All right, still, it was easy. And then we'll, yep. I think we'll also add a heart down here. and a heart. Almost forgot the envelopes. Alright, so let's do some more X's. And we're just going to go, yeah, just all the way. Maybe should have started over a smidge more. We have some X's and a heart. Just one heart. Alright, so that is that. And then let's close this one up. Wash off the little heart because we're going to use him again. Use the big flower and then the little flower, which we haven't used yet, which as soon as we do this, we've now used every stamp set on these two cards. I think I'm just going to leave that one at that, and then we need our envelope, and we will do one on the front and then same one on the back flap. Voila. All right. Let me wash these right quick so I don't get any of this anywhere. Okay. And now some glue. I'm just going to use the mono and right. 2 card bases, 2 card fronts, and so I was off just a smidge on this side, so I do want to trim just a hair. Yep, perfect. And we'll do the same on the other one, just a hair. I mean, which this ends up being, I think it's 1/16 of an inch. I forgot my garbage is right there. This is just super simple. Now, if you wanted to, you could pop this up for a little bit more of a statement. But just to make things easy tonight, I'm not going to do that. First card done, super simple. I think it's adorable. Hopefully you do as well. I do love having stamp sets that make it this easy to just have a card done, right? Goodness. Voila! 2 cards, super easy. Oh, with envelopes. They look very, very similar, but they also, like, they're their own thing. So, super fun. Let's go to our next card. Move this stuff out of the way. The next 2 cards are remakes of cards I've done, and they're going to be the same style card, but we're going to change it up a little bit. So we are going to remake this card because it's been a year plus since I've made this card. I do not recall the stamp set. It may have been a stamp of the month. Possibly. I don't remember. But we're going to do kind of the same type of card with some differences. Oh, and that was the envelope for it. In fact, I'm pretty positive that was a stamp of the month, but I don't know. So I have my card base and pieces. Again, I cut 2, and so we have the inside 4 1/4, 4 by 5 1/4, and then we have the front. It's 2 different layers, so we have 3. Fairly certain it's 3, yes, 3 by 5, and then we have 3 1/8 by 5 1/8. Okay, so these are going to be simple. We are going to be using this stamp set, which we used a couple weeks ago, and we're going to use the more solid of the swoosh on here. You know what? I actually might try this one and do slightly different look. So we'll try this one first. If it doesn't work out really quickly, then we'll swap it. But so we're going to use one of these 2, and then we'll use possibly some of this splatter. But I'm going to show you another way as well. And then we are going to do Sometimes There Are No Words stamp. So the sets themselves are Perfectly Imperfect Patterns and Always Near. I have only used this one time, I think, so I need to use this more. And we're changing up the color scheme. We're going to do Mist, Rosemary, and Harbor. So yeah, I wanted to do something different. All right, so let's use this little guy. I will go ahead and block this one up just to be safe. And yeah, we'll start there. First we need to decide what color we want to be our, in this case, goodness, our raspberry. It might have been wildberry. But we want a focal color. So I think we're going to do Harbor for that. So let me move this out of the way. And I will only do one of the cards today, not both for that one. And this is my craft mat, and I'm just going to lay part of it out. So we're going to grab our larger piece, just make sure it's our larger piece, and then we're going to ink up the edge. So we're doing this first so it has a chance to dry before we need it. And I don't need the whole panel, I just need those little edges, right? Because it's only 1/8 of an inch bigger. Okay. And then to bring some of the same color inside without having to do a double layer inside, I'm going to take my piece, this is my 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to flat side it, right? I'm just going to do this. So you can kind of see there maybe that there is some color on there. It is only on the edge. Okay, I am not distressing the top at all. Just as if this is a T with the paper and my ink pad. Right? There's no angle. There's no, I mean, everything's an angle, right? You know that. But, so that is that. So we're gonna set these aside and let them dry somewhere where they're not gonna get ink on everything else, ideally. Right, clean that up. See, still got ink on my fingers. Okay. Now let's do some stamping. All right, so I just wanted to take a quick look and see. Because like I said, we're going to try this one. And we'll see. And this is not what I was talking about earlier. This is what I normally do to a stamp that has not been used. I would take it from super clear to opaque, and that takes off the release agent that is used in the making of the stamp. So it'll come out of the mold that was used. Alright, so rosemary. I'm going to flip this over and just kind of wipe off the color. They're similar colors in similar strengths, so I don't need to wash it, but I did want to take off some of that color. more. Maybe I'll stamp that other piece with the other stamp just so that we can have that comparison. It's not terrible, but also was not what I was looking for. So set that aside. We'll see which one we like better. Alright, I'm fairly certain that I've used this one, but just in case. Now, on the original, I had 5 colors and two stampings of each color. However, I only have 3 colors this time. So I think that I'm going to stamp this 3 times for each color. And I'm going to flip it up and down each time, because this does have a thinner end and a thicker end. And I'm still going to give it a little bit of variety. I don't necessarily want each of them to line up perfectly. Alright, again with the back. I could also easily just do this 100% just all the same color all the way across, and that would be cute as well. And this is not going to have enough lines on it. That's okay. We're just going to keep going. In fact, I already know what I'm going to do, and we'll see how well this actually works. In theory, it should work out pretty decently, actually. Back to rosemary. Gotta do the 3 because otherwise it's not gonna work. But I also need to we're gonna do it like this, and I am going to embrace abstract. I personally want this to be even, right? So ideally what I would have done is done just 2, 2, 2, and then gone back to the rosemary for another 2, and then back to the mist for another 2, right? So it would have been Mist, Mist, Rosemary, Rosemary, Harbor. But that's okay. My husband likes abstract. He doesn't like things to be matchy-matchy. So we're going to go not matchy-matchy and see how well that works. Okay. So we have that stamped. I think this one would have been better if I had alternated the blocks. But yeah, we definitely don't like this one. So we're going to continue with this one. So we need so this is our card base, this is our inside, this is our front. See, and this will pop just like that. Perfect. Not that you can see that very well. And our envelope. So let's go with Harbor because that's our accent color. So we're going to stick with that one. Just get a goodness, that pad is a juicy pad. I have ink on a fingernail? My goodness. Okay. Now we're done with colors. Let's dry this a smidge because we need it to be dry for the next step. So we're just going to grab our heat tool. And just make sure. Especially since those ink pads are really pretty juicy. I do flip over my papers and dry them from the backside sometimes. It normally will help with the curling a bit. Alright, so our sentiment. We are going to stick with the sometimes there are no words, because that just fits 100% perfectly on here. So, because we've already spent a good deal of time trying to figure out which one works best, we are going to go ahead and use our Misty again. Move some things again. Alright, we are going to use our embossing pouch. And we are going to use our Versamark ink and our silver embossing powder. So this one I am going to use just the inside of the card base to catch that. just going to, we're going to do this twice just to make sure that there is enough ink on here. We're going to do it again because our straight words are not inking up well. Okay, so we are just going to pour this over. Tap that off. Try to see if there's any stragglers. I don't see any. Doesn't mean anything, but we'll see. Dump that back in. Close it. I am going to go ahead and use my clip. And then heat this up. Let's see if you'll be able to see. Okay, so that is beautiful. I think what I'm going to do is do that one more time. Just ink this up at least once, but maybe twice. And this should stamp right on top of the embossing powder. And as long as you make sure every time that you have it snug in your corner or lined up at whatever spot you do, then that should work perfectly. I should have done the embossing pouch between and I got something on here. And just doing it a second time just adds a little bit more, so it looks a little bit smoother and a little bit thicker and just a little bit nicer. Beautiful. So I don't know if you noticed before, and I did not point it out, is that on some of the letters there was still some pocking, pockmarking, and doing it a second time helps smooth everything out. Okay, so now make sure this is cool so we don't end up just rubbing it right onto the table itself. Now because of the 1/8 inch border, if a liquid glue would be easier for you, definitely do that. Alright, I need to get off whatever is on here. It wasn't even the clip, so we'll see if an eraser works first. Oh, I know, it was the magnet. Okay. White erasers you can get. This is just a little, little one like this. It comes as a 2-pack with 2 additional refills from the Dollar Tree. Super handy. Super handy. Oh, you know what I was supposed to do before we glued? I was supposed to add the dots. And you know what? I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it just as it is. Because if I did it now with the glue on the back side, it would just do some mucking up. And we don't need to muck up anything, right? All right. Inside of the card. And the front of the card. So again, this is something that you could pop up if you wanted to. I'm just going to glue it straight down today. Now you could put this down at the bottom and have space, or up at the top. I am just going to stick with the centering of it. All right. And that is our second card. So what I will do is I will go ahead, I'll pull in this piece here, right, that we decided we didn't like. And so you see we have dots on here that are heat embossed as well. And you can do a couple different things. You can take a stamp and do that, right? Okay, I need to pour this on before it dries up. Okay, the other thing that you can do is you can take your Versamark refill, okay, and you can use the tip of something small. You can use a pencil, you can use a safety pin, you can use a paintbrush, and you take this and ideally on something plastic, like, you know what, let's just use the inside of this lid. And I'm just going to put a dot. right? Just a dot, just one little dot. Because this stuff is thick. You don't want a ton of it on your project. And then, let's see. Oh, let's take we're going to use the scoring stylus, and we're just going to dip. We're going to dip and dot, dip and dot. And you can make some of them bigger, some of them tiny. Right, so if you wanted something around a specific phrase, you can do that. And I'm taking a little bit too long. So you're going to want to do just a few of them and then add your powder. So that it doesn't dry up. Okay. And just to kind of give you an idea, this is the back side, right? That is how thick and how quick that Versamark is. Those are the dots that I just put on here. Right? This side is the stamped Versamark, still Versamark. This side is the dotted Versamark. So it went through the ink and through the paper. So it's thick, you don't need a ton. If you don't have a circle stamp handy, like a tiny one, you could use the top of a pencil eraser and use the Versamark. I would use the pad and not dipped like we just did. Just saying. Alright, and then let's show you. So this first one is the stamped dot scatter. So, pretty good. And then these ones over here are going to take just a little bit longer, although they didn't. Alright, so if you, I don't know how well you'll be able to see. So those ones aren't really pockmarked, right? You can see the ones that are currently at the top of your screen. Those ones are, but those had dried a little bit before I could get the powder on, right? But the ones down at the bottom, not so much. These ones, however, look at those. You can see the pockmark on them. So this has about half of the embossing powder that these ones do, because there's less liquid here than there was here to hold on to that powder. So either way works. Both are great. If you want specific spacing on your splatter, you can use your stylus and a pen and you can go through and do that. So there is that card. Alright, no more embossing, I promise. Last card, it'll probably take a little bit more than 10 minutes, and I apologize for that, but we are going to recreate this. It is Pride, and that was not the intent when I created this card, but I came across this card when I was looking for something else, and I was like, oh, how perfect would that be? So let's do it. We all need some color in our lives, and Pride is an awesome reason to celebrate. So we are going to start with some stenciling. Before I get to that though, we are going to use these 3 stamp sets. So I got 2 of them backwards. We have Howdy Neighbor, and we're going to use the X's instead of the banners. The stamp set for the banners is actually still available, so you could get it and you could recreate this like this. The stencil is not, I don't believe, it might be, but I don't think it is. So, I mean, there'd still be some difference, but we're going to use the X's. If I only had some tiny O's I could put in there, that would be perfect. We are going to use this Celebrate. This is from New Beginnings. And then we are going to use this U from Starter Sentiments. So let's move some stuff out of the way. We need our card base and our inside, because we did actually do some inside as well. Our stencil color today is going to be Glacier. I'm going to use one of our stencil brushes, and since we have it super handy, let's bring back our craft mat. Alright, let's make sure it's dry. And then we are going to use the Dreammaker stencil, and you could do pretty much anything, but I'm going to stick with the dots. I like the dots, so we're going to stick with that. All right. So I don't necessarily want there to be dots everywhere. Maybe a hint everywhere, but just some, and some places here and there, some darker than others. And remember, there's going to be a stripe down the center here, so I think that right there is perfect. Let's look. Yes, I love it. See, that took no time at all. I'm not even going to have to re-ink my brush. I'm just going to kind of go up and down here in a slight corner. Voila. I just wanted to tie that in just a little bit. Look at how easy that was, guys. Like, so easy. So easy. Okay. Done with that one. Move the stuff out of the way. Now for the color. These are the colors that we're going to use on the front. So we have Candy Apple, Nectarine, Lemonade, Clover, Capri, Wisteria, and Grape. Most of these are the same colors as before, with a few substitutions. All right, we need our X's. You know, I bet you one of these little diamonds fits in between, so you could do X's and O's. Maybe not quite. That's all right. Not everything can be perfect, right? Alright, this piece is 2 by 5.5. And we're just going to make 2 rows of X's just to make it even cuter. Let's bring this in just to protect. Yep, 2 rows it is. More whites, because I did not get my chamois wet. Alright, nectarine. I always think it's kind of fun to kind of remake a card and do it, as my kids would say when they were younger, exactly the same but different. I'm pretty sure this qualifies under that. Exactly the same but different. And I love that these are so easy to see through. So we can get our stuff in the right spot. This is turning out super cute. Way cuter than I expected it to. I know that sounds terrible. You're like, you were gonna give us a not so cute card? Nope, it was still gonna be cute. This is just way cuter. Capri. So I'm fairly certain that the first card used green apple and bluebird. But the rest of the colors I do believe are the same. So. And clearly this color is not going down quite as far as the original, and that's quite alright as well. Like I said, exactly the same but different. But our sentiment is also larger, so that actually works out really well. Sorry, really well. Okay. It got kind of bunched up the further I went, but that's okay. That's okay. Oh, we need to stamp one of these inside. You know what? We're not going to stamp that inside, but we do need to bring over our Misty again. I have things in the way. Goodness. Okay. So let's grab our sentiment. It is two parts, but let's grab our first part, which is Celebrate. And this does just barely fit across a card. Alright, so make sure that we're all the way over where we need to be. Let's kind of set this where we want it so we can kind of see. We're going to move this up, because our U is, it's not small, but it's not giant either, but we definitely want to make room. All right, so we are going to do this just like this. Okay, remove this. Oh gosh. And then we are going to stamp. And I kind of want to do it in Candy Apple. We'll see. Hopefully this isn't going to be terrible. Right, we did it in black prior. We're gonna do it. We're just going to do it. I don't know how it's going to react with the glacier. That is my concern. Alright, I actually want to dry this before I go again. And because something I have learned is that the more ink that you have, the more it feathers out. And I know that probably is like a duh, but recently it's been doing it a lot more. And so I want to dry this a little bit and see. And see if we can make it nice and bright and not feathered. All right, give that a few of these. And then on my desk somewhere, I buried it, I'm sure of it. So I have a piece of acetate that I'm going to put down over top of this, because I don't want to put any more ink on the bottom, on the card base, right? But I do want to ink this. And so and this here. So this will allow me to ink up this piece and not ink up the card base anymore with the acetate between the two. Okay. And then we can do the U. And I think one of the purples would be awesome. All right, did this move? It did. Okay. I'm glad I checked. Okay, so I'll wipe this off. I know I'm off screen, but I'm just wiping this off. And we need the word you. And believe it or not, I have not done stamp surgery on this one yet. Which we'll just do right here. So we're just going to cut up, and you're just going to make sure that you're not cutting on any of the lines for your sentiment or your image or whatever it is that you're cutting. And it's super simple, but it goes back together super simple as well, right? So you'll be able to stamp it and nobody will know unless, you know, if they didn't know, they won't know. So let me check here. We're just gonna make this simple and we're gonna have this one off. And let's make sure we don't make a complete and utter mess out of things. All right, try fingers, try hands, make sure we are good. All right. Corner. And pick that up. All right, I think we go for grape. Go for grape. Wonderful. Well, that did not go very well at all. All right. Voila. I'm just now realizing we did not stamp our envelope. So let's do that really quick as well. Here we go. I'm like, where did my X's go? should have done this going through the first time. I apologize. Did not think about it at the time. So we can do this. We can do this real quick. We're just going to do one each. Right, we can do this. This will be fast. This will be fast. Have you guys made any cards like this? Hello, Rhonda. Sorry, it's been a bit since I looked up at my monitor. But as I was saying, have you guys made any cards where you have to do a lot of stamping like this? It's super fun though. They turn out super cute and adorable. Alright, one more color. See what you guys could do if you wanted to do the inside, which we skipped, and the envelope, you could super easy just do them at the same time. Right? You could line them up like kind of however you wanted to do it, and then stamp, and you get both at the same time. All right, envelope done. Let's glue it all together. Glue. Inside piece. The great thing about this too is if you really didn't want to do the inside piece, you wouldn't have to. You could just essentially have this. I mean, you could do it as a one layer card, but even if you didn't want to do it as a one layer card, you could do it as a mostly one layer card. All right, so this is going to be just the trickiest part of the whole thing, and it's not all that bad. I say as I mess it up. Voila. I think that's super fun. I know, I think I've probably said that phrase 50 million times tonight. All right, so card and inspiration. Oops. Card and inspiration. Move things up so you guys can actually see them. And then 2 easy cards. Voila. Those are our cards for the day. Let's see. Probably making all of them about an hour and a half, give or take a little bit. Not terrible, but it's all stamping. There's no printed pretty paper. It's all stamping and stenciling, and I think the cards are gorgeous and fabulous, and they have so many different possibilities. And of course, you could mix and match between the stamp sets that I used. You don't have to stick with them the way I did. So anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed the cards, and I hope to see that you guys make something similar and that you tag me in it so that I can see it as well. So, well, I would say again, but I didn't actually say at the beginning. My name is Michelle. I am crafting with Crafters Northwest, and I am using Close to My Heart products. So if you have any questions about any of the products, any of my techniques, or past classes or cards, which I reviewed at the beginning of the video, please let me know. I would love to help you get your craft on. So thank you ever so much, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.